Okay guys, so next step is remove the top cover from the gearbox housing. So to do that, it's a few of these hex cap sockets, 3/16. So let's get these removed. So two awkward ones. Just have to put the Allen key for these. They're not overly tight. Let's give it a tap with a rubber mallet. Okay, so that's the top cover off. So same thing, put the bolts with the cover. So the next thing apparently is to lift the selector up. And sit that on top, out of the way. So next up is we'll remove the bolts for the gearbox side plate, and then we should be able to slide the gearbox out of the main housing. So we're set up now to take this side plate out so we can remove the gearbox. The two lower ones, which also support the exhaust mounting plate, these are the two longest ones. Certainly see metal glitter in the casing, so it's all going to need cleaning out before I put the new components in, which is the reason I'm doing it. I felt as though there was some noise coming from the bearings. I think it was a good call to do a bearing change at this point. There's a plate for the exhaust. It'll be interesting to see how easy the gearbox slides out. Okay, just a light tap with the rubber mallet on the main output shaft was enough to release. Here it comes, some weight in this thing. It's not getting stuck on the sensor on the top, so that's okay. Just spotted the error of my ways. I've left the dipstick in. Okay. I was expecting a bit of a horror story of excessive metal particles in there, but actually it's not bad at all. But that bearing does sound horrible. So now we've got the gearbox out, then we'll look at getting, we've got a seal here to pull out, needs replacing, and then we've got this outer seal for the main bearing, and I think there's another smaller seal inside, but I'm not certain. But let's see if we can hook this outer seal out. Okay, it's on its way out. Just being careful not to. There it goes. There's a little circlip in there I need to take out as well. But that's for the bearings, that's holding the bearings in on the inside. Two needle bearings in there. Now you can see the movement on this. That is terrible. That bearing is terrible. I am taking the bearing out behind the seal, so it doesn't actually matter if I make a mark on it. But I just need to punch there. Just make a little centre punch mark to give the drill a fighting chance. Okay, so that's just through. I'm able to get this by using a thin punch rather than a screwdriver. Push it through the O-ring. It's already through anyway, it's gone through the hole, so that's good. So it's just a case of working it out now. It's so moving like it's on its way. There we go. It was moving like it's on its way. And there we go, that's just a little spring out the back of it. So that's the seal out, which is good. I can see the damage on the bearings now. They are in a bad state. Nothing's actually collapsed, but all the bearings are really scored. Okay, so next thing, get this big circlip off, and then we can extract this drive from the bearings, and then we've got to get the bearings off, obviously. So I've not got the proper Harley tool for pulling this drive out, but I've got a bearing puller, so I'll put that through, and I've got a block of wood at the other side. So at this side we've just got the block of wood and a spanner on ready to go, so hopefully that should be enough just to release this part from the bearing, and we'll go from there. There it goes, you can hear it clicking as it goes out now. It's getting easier every time it clicks. There it goes. The bearings and shrapnel everywhere. Oof. The state. If you can see that. Hopefully the camera's picking that up, the state of the race. You can see the pitting in there. All the way around. That's terrible. There's bits everywhere now. I've taken that out. So that is long gone, that bearing. So there's the main drive. The main drive all looks good, to be fair. There's an O-ring on there, needs replacing. More bits of the cage there. But you can see we've got some corrosion on there as well, which is probably added to the breakdown of the bearing, and a couple of needle bearings inside, so circlips to take off, and then this needs to go in the arbor press to press these out and put the new bearings in. Okay, so we've got all the bearings and bits and pieces out, so next we'll try and get this circlip out and see if these circlip removers are man enough for the task. It's a decent sized clip. Okay, there you go. Typically a big spring at the end. Got a new one of these as well, so I don't need this piece anymore. Everything's looking good in there. apart from the old bearing race, which is terrible, or the frame of the bearing really, I suppose. But need to get an extractor on there. Okay, so we've got the bearing puller in place, swapped it around the other side. Just need to put a ratchet on the other end so I can hold it. It's got a deep socket on the other side, and we'll try and turn it. I'm not sure if it'll come out in one go, just because I'm quite tight up to the actual gearbox case, so I may need to put some pieces behind this piece of wood to pull it away from the case so the bearing pops out. But we'll see, we'll start and see how we get on. If we have any luck, the bearing outer will just pop out. It's moving already, I can feel it, so I can see it moving. Right, so now it looks as though I'm just tight against the wood, which is what I thought might happen. Whether it's loose enough yet to come out, I'm not sure. We'll see. Sometimes you're lucky and you get them part out and then they just pull out. No, I'm not going to be that lucky. Okay, so the next thing is then just to hold this further away on the frame. So I need some more wood. Okay, so what I've done is I've moved this piece of wood away from the casing by putting two other pieces of wood in there just to space it out a little bit. The bearing was already moving, so I expect it to go quite easily. As easy as that. So it was right on the tip of just coming out of the case anyway. Take everything away. So there we go. There's the outer bearing case. I'll get this apart and then I'll show you the inside of that because it looks pretty nasty in there again. So hopefully you can see the inside of this bearing outer shell. Terrible scoring all around there. It's like half of it, to be fair. It's like half the race is scored. Well, this side and this side looks good.